Welcome to CLSP Politics. Sean Briscoe speaking. Doing a special report on the Florida elections that just happened. So the mayor's race, we'll start there. Eileen Higgins, Democrat-backed, won 59.46% to the Republican. That was 40.54. That's a 19-point spread in a seat in a seat that has not been won by a Democrat in 30 years. This is the worst nightmare for the Republican Party. This is the one. These are the things they look at and point at, and then go to their little conference rooms in the House and go, maybe shutting down the government wasn't such a great idea. Maybe cutting Medicaid, Medicare, and gutting our hospitals wasn't such a great idea. Maybe deregulating the insurance industries was not just the best idea. There's a lot of stuff happening here. The turnout was, pretty low, which is also a bellwether for Republicans. You understand the reason Democrats are always advocating for more people to vote, to get the vote out, to expand the vote, and to bring as many people into the polling locations as possible, is because when that happens, Democrats win. Right? The more participation by the electorate, the better the Democrats do. Well, conversely, the Republicans, the reason that they're putting like one vote drop box in Harris County, Texas, which has 2.4 million registered voters, the one voter drop box, right? Because there's one per county should be enough. In a rural county, that's fine in Texas. But in Harris County, that has more registered voters than 20 other states, maybe not so much. Well, this was a relatively low turnout race in Miami, and the Democrat won by 19 points. That means the Republicans just didn't show up. That means the Republicans are, the voters that normally vote Republican are over it. I think they might finally have figured out what a lot of us have known a long, long time, that they've been grifted. I have an entire show on the grifting of the agriculture industry, and blue cities. Yeah, I feel like they finally figured it out. Another race that went for the Democrats was the Commission Group 1 for Miami Beach City. Also went for Democrats. So Commissioner District 3, also were won by, Democrat-leaning candidates. Now they're still working out the math, the turnout, and all that jazz for some of these races. The one that did go for the Republicans, they held the seat for the District 11 special election. This also had pretty low turnout. But what that suggests is that we're still not doing a lot of rural outreach. To be honest, there probably just wasn't the money to go after that seat. Rural outreach for Democrats is a heavier lift than Republicans. For one thing, progressive voices walked away from rural America, 50, 60 years ago, and talk radio has just been kind of owned and operated by the Rush Limbaughs of the world. So we have decades of a one-sided conversation to work against in rural America, and that's going to take more than one cycle to undo. It probably will be, that issue is probably the project that my generation of political consultants and political operatives are probably going to have to work on for the next 20 years. Yeah. and the decentralization of communication, it means, podcasts and other things. The decentralization off of radio for rural America is gonna be a huge help with that, but that's another video altogether. So there were seats that we didn't win, the Democrats didn't win in Florida, but the ones that we did were, I mean, 90-point swings. These are not numbers I've ever seen. These are not numbers. So I did a video a few days ago talking about you know where I think the swing and how I think that's going to play out in the midterms. Um Figuring that 2025 was going to be all the best data we were going to have, and I wasn't even really looking at Florida because, to be honest, I was in Florida in 22 when the Republicans destroyed us by 19 and a half points. Of course, they outspent us 20-1, but still we got annihilated. They were propping up DeSantis to run so that Trump would have a stalking horse or someone that might actually keep Trump out of the White House. These were the Republicans, by the way. None of that worked out, obviously. Trump didn't even show up to the debates, and he handily won the Republican primary. Yeah, the Republicans are, not the brightest group of individuals. Anyway, so I was there in Florida in 22. It was brutal. And our voters just gave up on us. They were like, we were running terrible candidates, and and that played out the way one would think. So Florida is an interesting story, and you're going to hear a lot about it today. I think the big takeaway is that we've made, actually, the Republican policies are so terrible, and the ramifications over the next 12 or 11 months as we go into 2026 is going to play out in such a fashion that that big, beautiful bill is going to be something that's going to be wrapped around the GOP neck, and it's going to drag them down right into the dirt. And I hope to see that myself. All right. I've got another show coming out a little bit later today, but I wanted to get this out ASAP. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.